Let's pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and legislative assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider our matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. Next order.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Good morning, honorable members. I have this communication to make on correction on governor's message on nominees for the chief officers. Honorable members, you recall on Tuesday, the 18th day of April, 2023, I did convey a message from Her Excellency, Honorable Wavinya Ndeti, on nominees for chief officers to various departments pursuant to Standing Order number 39. However, I wish to make this correction that Ms. Bernadette Wavinya Mutiso Chania is the chief officer nominee for public participation, citizen engagement, and customer service, and not citizen management and customer care as earlier communicated. Thank you, honorable members. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
May I call upon Honorable Nicholas Nzioka to lay down the paper.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Nicholas Nzioka, MCA for Machakos Central Ward and also leader of the majority side of the House. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Assembly today, Tuesday, the 25th day of April, 2023. Number 1, report of the Auditor General on Machakos County Bursary Fund for the year ended 30th June 2022. Number 2, report of the Auditor General on Machakos County Executive Committee and Chief Officers Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme for the year ended 30th June 2022. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, honorable member. The 2 papers are committed to the Public Accounts and Investment Committee. May I again call upon Honorable Francis Kitaka to lay another paper.
Honorable Speaker, I am Francis Kitaka, representing Dalane Ward and the Chair, Finance and Revenue Committee. Honorable Speaker, I wish to lay the following paper on the table of the Assembly today, Tuesday, 25th day of April 2023, report of Finance and Revenue Collection Committee on the Machakos County Receiver of Revenue half-year financial statements for the year 2022-2023. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. May I call upon Honorable Grace Bahati to lay yet another paper.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Grace Bahati, the chairperson of Education Committee and Services and the MC of Cheleni Ward. Honorable Speaker, that aware that the purpose of the Public Finance Management Machakos County Bursary Fund Regulations 2019 is to provide financial assistance to the needy students Sorry about that, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that aware Article 185, Sub-Article 3 of the Constitution of Kenya provides that a county assembly sorry about that once again. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table on the Assembly today, 25th April 2023, report of Education and Social Services Committee on consideration of nominees to the ward bursary committees. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
May I call upon Honorable Francis Kitaka to give a notice of motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that aware that Article 185(3) of the Constitution of Kenya provides that a county assembly, while respecting the principles of separation of powers, may exercise oversight over the county executive committee and any other county executive organ. Aware that Standing Order number 195 provides for the mandate of a sectorial committee to include, among others, studying, assessing, and analyzing the relative success of the departments as measured by results obtained as compared with the stated objectives, and making reports and recommendations as often as possible, including recommendation of proposed legislation. Further aware that the second schedule of the standing orders mandates the Finance and Revenue Collection Committee to consider all matters relating to management of county public finance and revenue collection, and noting that the Department of Finance, Economic Planning and Revenue Management submitted a report on receiver of revenue for the second quarter for financial year 2022-2023 pursuant to Section 166 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012. Aware that the report was committed to the Finance and Revenue Collection Committee for consideration, and aware that the committee has compiled a report. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice of motion that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of Finance and Revenue Collection Committee on receiver of revenue for the second quarter of financial year 2022-2023 for consideration and adoption. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. May I also call upon Honorable Grace Bahati to give another notice of motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that aware that the purpose of the Public Finance Management Machakos County Bursary Fund Regulations 2019 is to provide financial assistance to the needy students, and aware that Regulation 11 Sub-Article 1 establishes the Ward Bursary Committee consisting of A, one person with at least a diploma in the relevant field with experience in matters relating to education who has ordinarily been residing in the ward for at least 5 years preceding the appointment and who shall be the chairperson. B, the ward administrator. C, the county officer from the education department and who is responsible for matters relating to education in the ward and who shall be secretary of the committee and an ex-officio member with no voting rights. D, a woman and a man who have ordinarily been residing in the county for at least 5 years preceding the appointment with experience in public administration, education, public affairs, or management. Aware that the Regulation 11, Sub-Article 3 confers the County Executive Committee member with powers to forward the nominees for the Ward Bursary Committee to the County Assembly for consideration and approval, and further aware that the said nominees were forwarded via a letter dated 17th March 2023. Acknowledging that the forwarded nominees were committed to the Committee on Education and Social Services, and aware that the committee scrutinized the forwarded documents in line with Regulation 11, Sub-Article 2, A and D. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give a notice of motion that this House approves the report of Education and Social Services Committee on consideration of nominees to the Ward Bursary Committees. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
May I call upon Honorable Nicholas Zioka, Majority Leader, to make the statement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the House Business Committee met on the 24th April 2023 to prioritize business for the House as forwarded by committees and honorable members pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order Number 151, Suborder 6D. The committee balloted business as follows. Tuesday morning, 25th April at 10 a.m. A, response on statements sought on the status of revenue collection and measures put in place to achieve maximum revenue by the Honorable Francis Kitaka. B, report on inquiry of Kidhimani Joe Crusher by the Honorable Peter Kilonzo. Tuesday, April 25th, afternoon 25th April 2023 at 2:30 p.m. A, response on statement sought on status of Kola Level 3 Health Facility by the Honorable Vincent Mutie. B, report of the consideration of nominees to the Ward Bursary Committees by the Honorable Grace Bahati. Wednesday morning, 26th April 2023 at 10 a.m. A, response on statement sought on implementation status of locust donor funds and Kwakatusia Dam in Bione Ward by the Honorable Charles Mbova. B, report of County Receiver of Revenue for financial year 2022-2023 by the Honorable Francis Kitaka. Wednesday afternoon, 26th April 2023 at 2:30 p.m. A, motion on tree planting by the Honorable Catherine Chair. B, response on statement sought on status of implementation of the Machakos County Cooperative Enterprise Development Fund Act of 2021 by the Honorable Charles Mbova. And C, adjournment of the House. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. May I now call upon Honorable Francis Kitaka to come and make a statement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would request that we defer the statement response because the honorable member who requested it is not in the House.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The statement can be deferred. Thank you. May I call upon Next order.
Number 8, motion, approval of report on the inquiry of Kidhibani Jaw Crusher.
May I call upon Honorable Helen Ndeti to come and move the motion on behalf of Honorable Peter Kilonzo.
Honorable Speaker, that aware that Article 42 of the Constitution of Kenya provides that every person has the right to a clean and healthy environment, which includes the right to have the environment protected for the benefit of present and future generations through legislative and other measures, particularly those contemplated in Article 67, sub-article B, to have obligations relating to the environment fulfilled under Article 70. Informed that in order to achieve economic development goals while safeguarding environmental integrity, the Kenya government has put in place the Environmental Management and Coordination Act, EMCA 1999, to coordinate environmental activities in the county. Honorable Speaker, aware that the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee conducted an inquiry on the operations of the Kidhibani Jaw Crusher and its effects on the environment and consequently compiled a report. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee on an inquiry into the Kidhibani Jaw Crusher. I call upon Mheshimiwa Faria to support the motion, to second the motion, sorry.
Mheshimiwa Varia. Thank you. I now propose the question that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee on an inquiry into the Kidhibani Jaw Crusher. I invite members to debate this, but before I do so, I wish to call upon Honorable Ndeti to give us highlights on the report. Honorable Ndeti.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. With your permission, I think I'll go through the previous, maybe establishment and mandate of the committee, then background information. Maybe, Madam Speaker, you can get me on how to
you can just go to the previous, you can just take us through the previous.
Yes.
Then go straight to
The background of
background information.
Yes.
And then
committee's preparation for the inquiry. No.
and then then I go to the conclusion and recommendation.
Okay.
Recommendations and conclusion.
Okay. I want to take you through the introduction. Preface. Honorable Speaker, the vision contained in the Machakos Integrated Development Plan is to be a globally competitive investment hub that ensures optimal utilization of resources, social and economic sustainability for the prosperity of all and wealth creation. Some of the development proposals for the Department of Trade, Planning and Industrialization is to install stone crusher machines in Yatta sub-county, which is endowed with a vast land full of dolomite. Honorable Speaker, crushed stones, also referred to as aggregates, are the fundamental components of contemporary construction projects. The utilization of massive pricey and centrally located crushing plants, which are out of place of the price range of small-scale business owners, characterizes the present techniques for crushing stones to make aggregates. However, because these centralized operations are frequently too far from the location where aggregates are used, the price of such materials is excessively high. On the other, anvil stone crushing is a common technique, particularly in rural areas. Honorable Speaker, despite the fact that the procedure is risky, time-consuming, and barely profitable, it is widespread in Kenya. The production of crushed stones in a range of sizes based on the machinery used in the industry is significant, since it provides the raw materials for several construction projects, like the development of roads, structures, and canals, among others. It is important to remember that quarrying is a necessary economic activity that is also risky. Legal background of environmental matters. I think it's important to go through that. 2.1, Constitution of Kenya 2010. Article 70, Article 1 states that if a person alleges that a right to a clean and healthy environment recognized and protected under Article 42 is likely to be denied, violated, infringed, or threatened, the person may apply to a court for redress, in addition to any other legal remedies that are available in respect to the same matter. 2.2, the Mining Act, number 12 of 2016. The purpose of the Act is to give effect to Article 60, 62, Subarticle 1, in brackets 1F, 66, in brackets 2, 69, and 71, of the Constitution, in as far as they apply to minerals, provide for prospecting, mining, processing, refining, treatment, transport, and any dealings in minerals. The Act further mandates the Cabinet Secretary responsible for mining and mineral sector to make regulations necessary or convenient for the proper administration and implementation of the law. 2.3, Mining Dealings in Minerals, Regulation 2017. These regulations are to apply to the export of mineral by a holder of a mining right, the removal of minerals by a holder of a mineral right for the purposes of sampling, assay, or analysis, the holder of a mineral dealer's license or dealer's permit, and the import of any mineral. However, these regulations do not apply to the export and import of rough diamonds. 2.4, Mining License and Permit, Regulations 2017. The Mining License and Permit Regulations 2017, Clause 4, provides that all applications for mineral rights shall be made through the Online Mining Cadastre, OMC, in order for them to be considered for grant. It is a commendable step that these regulations seek to regulate, inter alia, small-scale mining or artisanal mining operations in line with the Mining Act of 2016. By granting permits, however, there is a need to ensure that the same are not used as a political tool in awarding permits for corrupt dealings in artisanal mining activities. Environmental policy. Honorable Speaker, in order to achieve economic development goals while safeguarding environmental integrity, the Kenya government has put in place the Environmental Management and Coordination Act, EMCA, 1999, to coordinate environmental activities in the country. The broad objects of the national environmental policy include the optimal use of natural resources while improving environmental quality and conserving natural resources for both present and future generations. So now we go through the background of this report. Honorable Speaker, the Kidhimani Ward members of County Assembly informed the House that a jaw crusher had been installed, which was unsafe, harmful, and dangerous for the locals. The matter was referred to the Committee on Environment, Lands, Energy and Natural Resources, which gathered all the necessary information and presented a report on the floor of the House. In its recommendations, the committee strictly insisted on the closure of the jaw crusher. The report detailing the effects of the Kilimani jaw crusher on the locals, as well as spelled out in the committee's recommendations, was forwarded to the Chief Officer, Department, Trade, Planning and Industrialization at the time for implementation. Honorable Speaker, in the year 2020, residents of the villages of Utidhini, Chumbuni and Kamunyu in the Kilimani ward submitted a fresh petition to the Assembly, requesting the County Assembly to look into the issues raised by the area residents. They complained that the emissions from the jaw crusher pose health risks to the community by causing respiratory illnesses, dust that impairs feasibility, reduced plant growth, and wall cracking as a result of the impact of sound waves, among other things. Honorable Speaker, the residents claimed in their petition that attempts to have the issues resolved and the Kilimani crusher shut down, as well as the proprietor being advised by the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, to relocate the establishment to a more suitable place where there can be minimal and environmental health impact had not been adhered to, because the crusher was still in operation. In the petition, the petitioners prayed that the Assembly to act and shut down the Kilimani crusher so that the neighborhood would not be negatively impacted by its operations. Honorable Speaker, the petition was presented to the House and committed to the Justice and Legal Committee, which opted to meet with the locals first to hear their complaints. However, COVID-19 checked in just as the committee was about to meet with the management at the jaw crusher, resulting to a postponement of the same. Honorable Speaker, the committee visited the factory site in early 2021 and spoke with the production manager, who informed them that the company had all the necessary paperwork to operate the jaw crusher. Upon committee's request to inspect the paperwork, they were informed that the secretary had locked the documents but promised to share the documents via email before end of the same week, to which they did not honor their word. Honorable Speaker, time lapsed and the Assembly went for Synodai before the matter was concluded. During the third Assembly, the agenda was reintroduced as part of pending work from Second Assembly, Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. This time around, it was to be dealt with as an inquiry and not as a petition, because according to Standing Order 201 sub 2, the petition's deadline had lapsed. Committee's preparation for the inquiry. Honorable Speaker, during a meeting held on 7th February 2023, the committee decided to look into the Kilimani Ward Ballast Plant and invited the County Executive Committee member, CEC, for the environment for a meeting to discuss on the status of the plant. Additionally, the CEC was required to inform the committee whether or not the jaw crusher facility was still in use, and if so, if it was operating within the law. Submissions by the Chief Officer, Environment. Honorable Speaker, on 21st February 2023, the committee met with the Chief Officer, Environment, who briefed the committee on the complaints by the community about the crusher in 2020. The department had visited the area and given the owners of the jaw crusher conditions for them to operate, which they were unable to adhere to, leading to its indefinite closure. The committee was also informed that the owner had obtained a business permit from the County of Government of Machakos in 2020 to operate. Honorable Speaker, the issue of the site being in operation on and off was established through the ward administrator. Further, the Chief Officer Environment reported to the committee that in as far as the county government was concerned, the factory was last in operation in 2021. It was also stated that any operations that might have been done after 2021 were illegal. The committee was also informed that the department had never received any complaints from after its closure in 2021, and it was regrettable that any unwarranted occurrences were not reported. Honorable Speaker, the committee was also assured by the Chief Officer Environment that similar occurrences will not happen in Machakos because necessary measures have been put in place to control such. However, the Chief Officer informed the committee that the County Assembly had passed the Machakos County Management of Quarrying Activities Act 2016, Annex 1, which some sections of the Act were quashed at the Mafoko Law Courts through a constitutional petition number 4 of 2020, Annex 2. 5.0, committee site visit to the jaw crusher. Honorable Speaker, on 16th March 2023, the committee conducted a site visit to the Kidimani jaw crusher to ascertain the status, as reported by the Chief Officer, Department of Environment and Climate Change. The committee is pleased to report that the jaw crusher was moved, as was evident with the demolition of the facility offices and the processing plant, the jaw crusher. During the site visit, the committee had an opportunity to speak to the residents neighboring the plant who revealed that the crusher had not been in operation for the past 1 year. Committee's observations. Honorable Speaker, the committee observed the following. 1, that the jaw crusher plant had been closing and reopening, but for the past 1 year it had been in operation. It had not been in operation, sorry. 2, that the county does not have laws that regulate quarrying activities. 3, that the license that had been issued to the former owner of the crusher had expired in 2021, and any other operations after expiry was an illegality. 7.0, committee recommendations. Honorable Speaker, considering the gravity of the matter at hand, the committee recommends the following. 1, that in case a different person decided to open a similar business, they will have to submit all the required documents before opening any, including the former proprietor. 2, there is need to carry out public participation in future before such activities are licensed to operate. 3, there is a need to have a law in form of Machakos County Quarrying Act in place to regulate quarrying activities within the county and to ensure that the safety of the residents as well as the environment is catered for. 4, to ensure that appropriate documents are available and regulations are put in place enforcing the national mining laws with regard to dealing with a similar project. Conclusions and acknowledgement. Honorable Speaker, the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee appreciates the assistance provided by the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the County Assembly during preparation of this report. We would like to express our gratitude to the honorable members of the committee who gave up their time and shared their expertise in drafting this report. Honorable Speaker, it is thus my duty and privilege on behalf of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee to table this report to this honorable House for consideration and adoption. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Ndeti. I now invite members to debate this motion. The floor is yours, members. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I don't have much to say, but I think the committee did a very good job in pursuing this matter to some logical conclusion. The fact that the crusher is no longer working, maybe it's the work of the committee that has forced the different players to conclude that it is no longer viable because issues to do with the environment affects our health, affects our development. Just to say that even though when opening a business of this nature, a commercial venture of this nature, we have very different players within the government setup issuing different licenses, like the Ministry of Mining, like the Ministry of Environment, but it's incumbent on the county government of Machakos to issue the final business operating license, the single business license. So it's important that when all is said and done, the relevant department, while issuing the final license, that all necessary measures are put in place for those who want to open such ventures in future, like issues to do with air pollution, issues to do with noise pollution, issues to do with, general welfare of the workers who will be working in those factories. So I'd want to say, while we are doing investment, it's also very important to take care of our environment and our people. But I think the committee did a very wonderful job. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Brian Kisila.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for catching my eye. I think the committee did a very good job. I am a member of that area, and this crusher was problematic, very problematic to the locals. The fact that they knew the assembly was involved, they actually took, I think that's the reason why they got scared and took off. Madam Speaker, on the same basis, I wish the committee can also look at Maboko area. We have a lot of properties which are cracking because of some of these crashes, and some people are also mining in that area. As Madam Speaker, it's very unfortunate that people can come to our ward, to our county, and they have to relocate to other areas, and they don't invest in our county because of some businessmen who don't take into consideration about the environment. So the committee did a very good job, and I wish they can do the same to Mavoko area. Madam Speaker, also I would like to apologize. I came a bit late. I had an emergency, and there was a statement which I sought. I pray that you think if you can allow Mheshimiwa Kitaka to respond after this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Member. And thank you for that good input. Yes, that statement was deferred because you are away. We can allow that the same be done after this motion is concluded. Do we have more members debating on this matter? Honorable Paul.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Paul Mwaziamuli. I'm the one who represents the area which the crusher was installed. That is Kidimani Ward. Mine is to confirm to this house, the crusher was removed back 2021, and I want to add another input. When doing public participation concerning this business, they should conduct public participation with the residents where the crusher should be installed. They should not import the people from other areas to come and do public participation. When I want to congratulate the Committee of Legal and Justice Affairs. They did a good job. Even the petitioners who petitioned the crusher, they did a good job. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. May I call upon Honorable Helen Detty to come and make a reply to that motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to also thank all the members who have contributed and who have listened to this matter, which has now been brought to its conclusion. But some of our conclusions need to be followed. Somebody should come up with I think the county should come up with a law to regulate quarrying. It's not only the Kidimani people who are suffering. I remember the last assembly, I brought in a motion because residents of Kinani ward in Mavoko were suffering because of too many quarrying activities across the river, which were causing their houses, very expensive houses, to be damaged, cracking, and a lot of noise. Animals were also dying because of dust, taking, eating leaves at dust. People were also developing upper respiratory diseases. So it seems like this is a menace in our county, and it's the high time the county does some regulation, comes up with a regulation that can ensure that at least the public participation before such an activity is started, there is public participation. Thank you, members. I appreciate you, and Asante.
Thank you, Honorable Ondeti. I now put the question that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee on an inquiry into the Kidimani jaw crusher. As many are of the opinion, say aye. As many are of the contrary opinion, say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. At this point, I wish to allow Honorable Francis Kitaka to give the response to Honorable Brian Kisila.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Francis Kitaka, representing Dalane Ward. Honorable Speaker, Standing Order 41.3 provides that where a member requests for a statement from the committee chairperson relating to matters under the mandate of the committee, the Speaker may appoint a day for the statement or direct that the statement sought must be restricted to matters within the mandate. The Speaker may either appoint a day for the statement or direct that the statement sought must be restricted to matters within the mandate of the committee and which have been exhaustively dealt with and concluded by the committee, or where the chairperson is authorized by members to issue preliminary reports to the House. Honorable Speaker, a statement on status of revenue collection and measures put in place to achieve maximum revenue for Machakos County was sought in this Honorable House on 14th March 2023 by Honorable Brian Kisila, MCA Mwala Ward. The statement was committed to the Finance and Revenue Collection Committee to report on or before 4th April 2023. The committee was not able to report on the said date because the House had adjourned to 18th April 2023. The committee, through a reference letter that date 16 March 2023, engaged the Department of Finance and Revenue Management, and the response is as follows. Honorable Speaker, in their response to the the Directorate of Revenue Collection committed to undertake its responsibilities with the weight it deserves and has made the following measures regarding to our inquiry. Number one, on strategies to be employed by the Department of Finance and Revenue, Finance, Economic Planning and Revenue Management to enhance revenue collection, the department responded as below. One, full automation of all revenue streams for a cashless collection system. B, continuous mapping and review of available revenue streams in collaboration with state and non-state actors. There is a planned mapping exercise for the county revenue streams in the financial year 2022-2023, as observed in the recent tender advertisement dated Wednesday, 8th March 2023, Nation newspaper. The mapping program is also captured in the third generation CIDP, where mid and end term review of the same will be conducted. The mapping exercise will enable the county to have all data set pertaining to revenue streams and their full potential, and also develop a database of all the stakeholders for informed planning in the department and the entire county. C, amendment of the finance bill through the Honorable County Assembly to conform to the diverse economic times and the Governor's Manifesto. D, disposal of non-serviceable assets as per the laid down laws and regulations. E, planned recruitment of additional revenue officers to man all revenue streams and county entry and exit points with ease. The department has identified all escape routes and manned them to seal revenue loopholes. This will ensure the county exploits all existing revenue streams. F, enhancement and enforcement of all revenue-related laws in the Finance Bill and or Act, that is Liquor Licensing Act, Sand Harvesting Act, Trade Licensing Act, and many more. G, collaboration with the Lands Department to fast-track valuation role exercise. H, inclusion of performance appraisal system with incentives in the Revenue Management Department for exemplary performance. I, regular accounting of rate payers to demonstrate linkage between revenue collected and public services delivered. J, introduction of alternative arbitration to resolve levies-related disputes to avoid delayed revenue collection. K, develop mechanism in collaboration with the judiciary for sharing court fines collected on matters related to Machakos County government. I, introduction of one-stop shops in all sub-counties to enhance investment facilitation and improve service delivery, therefore translating to increased revenue collection in the county. M, conducting rapid response initiative program for 3 months, starting the month of April to June 30th, 2023. N, the department will conduct continuous monitoring on the outcome of the above mentioned RRI and developed strategies for improved RRIs for enhanced revenue collection. O, training and awareness. Proper training of revenue collection officers on procedures and ethics to help minimize the chances of fraud and error. Regular awareness campaigns will be conducted to help promote a culture of transparency and accountability. P, identifying alternative sources of revenue beyond the traditional ones. Q, law enforcing fines on all defaulters will apply at 30% penalties of the defaulted amount. Honorable Speaker, there was also a request on the issue of systems and controls that will be employed by the department to seal loopholes, and the department responded as follows. A, to seal the loopholes, full automation of revenue collection across all the 9 sub-counties to ensure cashless payment system to mitigate accountability and embezzlement issues. This translates to electronic payment system and automated record and reporting system. The department has been able to close down 210 pay bills and linked or integrated a new pay bill number 1616160 and USSD code *707# to the county revenue collecting accounts. 2. The numerous registered pay bill posts a challenge in revenue collection, reporting, and proper management. Full automation will enable all modules to be activated, including building plans, approvals. 4. The department has been able to acquire phones and gadgets to be used by revenue officers to verify M-Pesa transactions and messages. 5. In collaboration with the Department of Roads and Transport, the department will install CAPS parking system at Machakos, Tala, Kangundo, and Komarok bus parks. Number 6, all controls will be implemented in line with the PFM Act 2012 and the County Finance Act. In that, internal controls, the department will enhance internal controls such as approvals processes, segregation of duties, checks and balances to help and prevent fraud and errors. The department, in collaboration with the Department of Trade and all livestock yards in the county, will be fenced for better controls in revenue collection. In collaboration, there will also be an establishment of debt management unit to pursue rate defaulters, which enhances on revenue collections. E, there will be also an introduction of new approach for PSV payment for vehicles through SACCOs for better management and monitoring of the streams collection. The department also looks at centralization of all permits issuance for ease of enforcement and inspection. G, there will be continuous capacity building, redeployment, and rotation of revenue employees to enhance efficiency and effectiveness. Therefore, continuous monitoring of revenue clerks to contain possible rogue employees will be conducted across the county. H, enhancement and enforcement of all revenue-related laws into the finance bill and or act, that is the Liquor Licensing Act, Sand Harvesting Act, Trade Licensing, and others. There will also be a continuous sensitization or civic empowerment of all citizenry on the benefits and importance of paying county levies. Lastly, there will also be a support execution of waivers if need arises in the county. Honorable Speaker, the statement further inquired on the support the Department of Revenue Management requires from the County Assembly to achieve its full potential and execute its mandate. And the department highlighted the following areas. A, support in mobilization, in revenue mobilization. The County Assembly can assist to mobilize revenue by encouraging compliance with revenue laws and regulations through promoting public awareness and obligations, benefits, importance of paying county levies. B, the House, this Honorable House, through allocation of funds, through allocation of sufficient funds to the Revenue Department to facilitate its operations. This may include budgetary allocations and facilitation for staff, procurement of 12 enforcement vehicles, equipments, and any other resources necessary for effective revenue collection. C, passing revenue-related legislation. The County Assembly can pass laws and regulations that make it easier for the department to collect revenue. D, through execution of their oversight mandate in the department through regular audits and reports to the Assembly. 5, E, support the revenue collecting department to execute their mandate and achieve maximum collections. That is, support land department to actualize the valuation role exercise for the county. Collaboration. The county assembly can work collaboratively with the department to provide guidance in identifying opportunities and gaps for the revenue growth. Sensitize the importance of paying revenue levies and fees to the electorates at all times for a conducive political environment and cushion a bad publicity. Multi-sectoral collaboration between the executive and county assembly committee in charge of revenue collection. This includes supporting revenue collecting departments in executing their mandate through joint ventures to share best practices that will enhance revenue collection. The county assembly to participate fully in the department's public participation. The county plans to achieve its revenue targets this financial year by surpassing 1.6 billion Kenya shillings, which will be the highest revenue collected since devolution. Attached, please find the updated revenue records for ease of your reference. Honorable Speaker. Sijaona kama umeattach, but anyway. Honorable Speaker, the committee presents this as a preliminary report pursuant to Standing Order 41-3 and undertakes to invite the CCM Finance and Revenue Management for further engagement on the same issues and present a comprehensive report to this House. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. That was quite elaborate. Before I call upon Brian Kisila Honorable to state whether this response is adequate, though the chair has said it's preliminary in nature, I want to call upon honorable members to ventilate a bit on the response. Honorable Ndeti.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First, I wish to congratulate or commend the member who decided to bring up this statement. I think it's very much in order. But when you go through what our chair for finance has read, it's more of the procedure that our finance department is taking to ensure that there is revenue collection enhancement. Members, as an assembly, we just need to support this department by not reducing their ceiling, but increasing the amount of money we allocate to this department, because you very well know that you can't look for money when you don't have money. So we need to ensure that in the future, when we are doing our budgeting, we have financed, we have given them enough money to be able to spend and collect more on areas where they need to spend, like mapping, coming up with more or increasing the base for revenue collection. I think that's an exercise on its own that will take quite a bit of money. Clustering various businesses, because right now, I'm sure if you ask them how many bars we have in the entire county, I don't think that our county, our executive is aware. How many butcheries do we have? What businesses, how many SMEs, how many blue chip companies we have in the county? I don't think we have that data. So it is, I think the finance department has got a good idea of what they want to do to ensure that they achieve maximum revenue collection. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Mulinge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Honorable Mulinge, MCA Muvoteke Makimwe. I would like first to start by thanking the committee. They have come up with a very elaborative information
However, I've listened to the information the department has given, and majorly in the information, it has dwelt more on the past, present actions which they are going to take. But Madam Speaker, bearing in mind we are 8 months when we were elected, 8 months when we have a new government, I've not heard the response of saying, this is what we have done. But majorly what I've heard is, we shall do this and that. So next time, I urge the committee, because the role of the assembly is to oversight, to come up, to ask the department to come up with the real situation. How we can meet, instead of we shall do, means that we might fail to achieve what the count, what the target of the count. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. May I then call upon Honorable Brian Kisila to state whether the response is satisfactory.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think for the first time in this assembly, we can see chairmen and committees who are competent in what they are supposed to do. And Madam Speaker, the reason why I saw this statement is because you can see from the national government that there is no money coming. And there is no money even coming in the foreseeable future. And the reason why we need to start working on how we can grow our own revenue for our own development. Madam Speaker, I'm very, very satisfied with the response from the Chairman Finance. These measures he has indicated here are very comprehensive. And in fact, what has made me very happy about it is that we are saying this year we are going to achieve 1.7 billion revenue. It is still on the lower side. 1.7 billion revenue is still on the lower side, but we have never done it since the formation of all devolved units. In my statement, I indicated we have got potential to comfortably do 3 billion. And I think the measures is indicated here are enough to ensure that we grow revenue next year to almost 3 billion. And Madam Speaker, we should put that as a target for next year. 3 billion. We should put it as a target for next year. And the minute we put that 3 billion as our target for next year, let us all work towards ensuring that we deliver. Because the minute we get money for internal revenue, it goes back, it goes to national treasury and comes back for development. 3 billion is achievable. And I'm happy the chairman has indicated the support he needs. So what we need to do as an assembly is to ensure that we put enough money in our budget in his proposals, as by his proposals, so that we can actually, there should be no excuse of not achieving 3 billion. So, Madam Speaker, that is our target. But also I'm suggesting that as a chairman for decentralized and urban development, we have got municipalities which are idle in nature. And one of the things we are pushing for in our committee is how we will activate the municipalities to become serious revenue streams for the government, the county government. In fact, Madam Speaker, there is only one county called Kisumu where municipalities collect revenue on behalf of the county government. Madam Speaker, In our committee, we are pushing for operationalization of Urban and Cities Act so that municipalities can be held accountable in delivery of service in their areas, and also municipalities can start collecting revenue for us, and we can start holding them accountable. We also have a lot of water companies, Madam Speaker. And these water companies are selling water, but we cannot see any revenue coming from them. In fact, they have become areas where they just take money from executive, from the county government. We will hold these water companies accountable. We want them to become revenue streams. Mawasco, it's called Mawasco, yeah? This is a serious company. If we put our act together, we will generate a lot of money from there. So 3 billion is actually an understatement. One other area also which we must accept is on the health sector. Madam Speaker, water and health can never be free. And let us stop making political statements that we should treat people for free. The minute we make our facilities free, people from Makueni, people from Kitui, from Nairobi, come to our facilities and take our medicine at the expense of our people. Madam Speaker, I want to mention that we never used to collect any revenue in Mwala level 4. But now I'm very happy, Madam Speaker. In the last 3 weeks, we have collected revenue almost to the magnitude of 600,000 shillings. And this month alone, we want to deliver 1 million. If we collect that money, and through the health committee, we are also working a way of, we collect 1 million, 1 million comes back to the facility for enhancement of the revenue. So this statement, and this is the way, Madam Speaker, statements are supposed to be done in this assembly. Let us stop having these witch hunts or people bringing statements with other intentions. When we seek statements, let the committees take serious action on them and let them respond the way Chairman Finance has responded. I am very happy. I think that is how competent chairmen should be. And Chairman, now I suggested that we will be having awards for chairmen in this assembly. And as it is, Chairman Finance, you are ranking very highly. And please, we will keep this paper. And we will keep on reminding you. And in our next year's budget, Bwana Chairman, this coming financial year, we will not put revenue target at 2 point something. We will put it at 3 billion. And let us work together to ensure that the governor and the executive collect 3 billion. The minute that money comes, I can tell you this county will become the talk of the entire country. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kisila. And thank you very much, Chair Finance and County Revenue Collection. That was really elaborate. We can see a lot of commitment, and we can see that the work of oversight that we are mandated to do is being done in the right way. We believe that we'll ensure that we achieve the goals we have set. 3 billion is achievable, as said. But also, let's also think about budgetary allocation, as members have said. Thank you, honorable members. The House now adjourns to Tuesday, 25th April 2023 at 2:30 p.m. Thank you.